Welcome back, everyone, to the Ivy Plus versus COVID-19 charity tournament. My name is XT. I am joined here with Coco the Dragon, and we are now at our grand finals with Columbia taking on Stanford in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, and just as a reminder for this grand finals, this is double elimination bracket with Stanford. If they do lose this one, the bracket does get reset and they will fight one more game for Columbia College and Stanford again. But if Stanford pull it out and grab the W, it's game over and Stanford takes the prize for this tournament. So it is very much on the line for them if they want to be able to sort of win this one and make it a one and done deal because for them, the faster the better. Columbia, you want to try and just grab the W, but it does mean that you are in for a slogfest of a series because of that situation. So for them right now, it's something that you got to look into how this break went for these teams. What did they think of? What did their compositions get drafted into? And in the end, which team will inevitably like ban out this Zach because Footboy has been dominating on this pick no matter what. And when you look at Stanford, there's not a lot of things that you can sort of ban out to make it more of a comfortable or confident matchup going into the series.
Yeah, and I think the really good news here is that we are going to be looking at Columbia taking on Red Side, and a lot of people right now have been saying that Red Side is decided to be at simply because how much power you can have by getting that guaranteed counter pick here. And it's something that we saw last time when we saw Stanford save their last pick for toxicity and was able to come out with the edge. Um, or actually, no, sorry, I stand corrected. No, Stanford was on the blue side. I am
Yeah.
making stuff up. Okay, Maokai was picked early. So we saw examples of red side being used incorrectly here, but I'm sure Columbia are going to be able to find a way to take full advantage of that. We are going to be heading into our pick bands here for our grand finals, and Darius already taken off the table.
Oh boy, I did not see that one coming whatsoever. I
I
hope you can
agree.
hear the sarcasm with me, but it's something where, take out whatever they succeeded on in that previous game just because of the sense
Sure.
of like the face roll factor, right? Like if you
Yeah.
dominated on a pick, just get it off the board. Even if you do know you have like a counter pick against it, it just might be a good idea to make sure that they don't have that continuing energy going into this game.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, like who are you going to be taking out for Stanford? Because Columbia College, they have a lot of problems to deal with, right? Like Toxicity has been performing well on multiple picks. Fidix
Mhm.
has been still dominating on every marksman he's been handed to as well. The Ezreal might be something that you want to take out of play just because,
Oh, there it is.
hey, like, let's just get it out of the board. And like you
Right.
mentioned, the Zac being taken away means that Footboy will have to pick something new.
Yeah, and very excited to see that. But the biggest telling me of the story here is that top lane is getting focused down back and forth. I would argue that Columbia and Stanford's strongest players at the moment stand in that top lane, and we are going to be seeing a clash of titans. Last ban coming out here. I would have liked to see the Aatrox, but Mordekaiser is going to be the ban out here. Toxicity did play that really well. Granted, got to remember both these picks were played into that Maokai, so it's really hard to say which pick truly performed better as off. It's going to be that first pick for Carlton Ganks, who has been really successful with this pick so far.
Yep. So that Olaf pick going to be pretty comfortable. See what else that these two teams are going to grab. Tarek, again, being that first pick here for Broski, nice comfort pick, and can go fairly well with a lot of the marksmans. Like, let's say, I'd still like to see the Callista, but I don't know if Solgi will be confident with it. This is where, pick your jungler, pick
Ooh.
a flex pick possibly. Karthus would be okay, but going into the Olaf, it's something where it's like, all right, Karthus, super fast clear, doesn't have to worry about invades too much because of the fact that Olaf isn't really the strongest invader on the map. Where on the other side, you have this now capability for Stanford to say, all right, well, now that we know what your jungler is going to be, let's go ahead, get that safe lane that we need to, grab the Ezreal, and then actually find a formidable like flex situation, right? Like this is where they can
Right.
do something that is a little bit more attuned to tricking out Columbia University because the
Yeah.
fact that say, hey, I want to see like maybe a set, like just go set top, set mid situation, or
Mhm.
Aurelia is another perfect example. Go something that can go into Adonis's hands or into Toxicities.
Right. And I think something I want to see here, maybe from Colombia, maybe the Lucian here can be flexed into the mid or ADC role. And also, Lucian Tark is another combination that is a pretty deadly lane. Being able to get that E into the Tark stun does work wonders. Set, though, I would agree, would be a very strong pick here, but Vayne is actually going to be the call here into the Ezreal. And usually with Karthus, you want to be picking lanes that you know will be able to get pressure, that will be able to protect the Karthus in case of any invades or any scuttle contests. And, being ahead with a Karthus is usually, a really, really nice feeling to have on any team. But we are going to be seeing more top lane focus. There goes to Singed, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And the thing with the Tarek Vane pickup is something where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right.
So grabbing this, having something where we're comfortable going into any matchup, and then Ezreal could, like, you could argue might be able to poke out the Vane, but the way that Solgi and Broski were able to play it last time around against Brown University, they didn't really have too much of a problem. Though the thing is you are banning out a lot of those solo lanes once again with the flex. So Fidix and Saxo will have the pick of the litter for this final bout into the next phase. So for them, it's just saying, all right, well, let's grab something that's very comfortable with Ezreal. Maybe the Morgana again that they were able to succeed on last time. Ezreal Nami is also a thing that they could grab up as well to just
Mm.
absolutely rail onto people. Yumi as well is another situation which also could convert later on into the late game and just like drop onto Aurelia or Olaf and then just be that powerhouse to like lock down all of the members. So there's a lot of
Right.
scenarios that they can do for the supports where for Columbia University, it's like, okay, well, we can hold the blind pick. Let's pick someone right here, right now. Like you have to pick your mid or your top. So which one are you more comfortable blind picking, right? Like you're going
Set.
against Aurelia. Which one do you want to see if you can grab it and like make a comfortability? And Lysandra grabbing that, I like it because you have that lockdown capability with Aftershock,
Sure.
and you can just make sure that Aurelia doesn't really get too crazy.
Right.
And that also means that if you want to put Aurelia topside, Lysandra will have a tolerable time against almost anyone in that mid lane. So really that's a
Right.
win-win for Columbia University.
It's not a mid lane matchup you're going to be looking to win here. It's more or less a neutralizer, which is the role I think Lissandra plays most of the time. But now this means Toxicity is going to be either looking for a top lane blind pick or it's going to be that Aurelia. And there isn't really a lot of picks available that are considered safe top laners. Maybe the set, maybe the Aatrox is the ones I can think of top of my head. I know Urgot has also been a little bit more popular, but is he actually going to be locking this Valkyrie?
I guess so.
Oh
All
man,
right.
that's gonna be the Maokai, and if there's anyone you could shout out who's been playing Maokai the whole tournament, it's gotta be your boy
Oh
Densham from
boy.
Brown. Shoutouts to him.
Oh
But
boy.
oh
I
boy,
guess
take
shout
me,
out for the
take.
boys.
I was hyping up this top lane matchup. I did not expect this to go this way.
Oh my. Tanks
Oh
all the
my,
day.
takes all. Now this is how we start up a grand finals. The Maokai versus Ord top lane here. Neither top laner wants to really give either one the advantage. So what better way to do it than provide a truce and just get a tank on both sides and let the other side of the map duke it out.
Yeah, and it's something where like I saw the Vladimir hover and I was like, come on, just pick the Vladimir. It really messed with Columbia's heads, but they go with that Maokai for the shout out. Honestly, it might dig them a little bit of a hole, right? Because the fact
Right.
that Ornn does win that laning phase does make it a little bit easier, but thankfully Maokai can actually go grasp and do some trading back and forth with him. And
Mhm.
so for them and for both these teams, Stanford and Columbia can just say, you know what, screw it. Like, let's just leave top lane to its own devices. If Messi or Toxicity get solo kills, what really is the result of that outside of okay, maybe they get a little bit closer to their spear visage or their sunfire cape a little bit earlier. The rest of the game isn't really affected until they start to look around elsewhere. So it's like looking around mid lane specifically is where I'd be keeping my eyes on because Adonis might just pop off on this Aurelia. Lysandra might be not be able to take care of him. And for Fidix and Solgi, it's really just a waiting game, seeing who's going to slip up first, who's going to make that mistake. And both of these two marksmen do scale efficiently into the later stages, but it does come down to those individual players and their comfortability on the champions to really get themselves online and be a
Right.
benefit to their team.
And Adonis on Irelia has been a pick that a lot of people have been hyping up over here on the Yale or esports stream here. He's been rocking quite a scary number of wins on this champion, and we've only or we haven't really seen it on stream yet, or at least for our block. But I believe Adonis was able to get his hands on an Irelia at this tournament, and well, very excited to see on what he can do with this pick.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how it goes, but for now, we're just going to jump into that spectator delay and
Hmm.
see how it goes out. So we will catch you all on the flip.
Yep. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stands still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm done with yesterday.
Writers write what they know. Liars write what they wanna show. Singers sing what they told. But I know you got something else to say. Like secret language, speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You gotta
Welcome back, everyone, to the Ivy League Plus charity tournament versus COVID-19. My name is XT. I am joined here with Coco the Dragon to kick things off in our grand finals, where Columbia have to win 2 in a row if they want to claim the championships. Both teams are opting for a level 5 stack on both sides of the map.
Super weird, honestly. Like, look at the teams. Like, who's gonna win the 1v1? It's something that I look at Columbia University and I'm like, yeah, they're the ones that would probably win it outright. So they got Tarek stun to line it up. They got lockdowns. They got enough damage. Like Ornn maybe might not do as much, but it's like it does more than Maokai. Like Aurelia and like Ezreal would have to pop off. Like Fidix and Adonis would have to do absolutely insane. But you know, they both go back off. Actually staying around here for Stanford, seeing if they could get the catch, because the rest of Columbia has already decided to back off.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that, you know, Stanford are prepped against this Karthus pick, and the boy is able to sniff this one out, and we're going to be seeing a scuffle at the blue buff so far, and I think Karthus is just going to concede this. He started his wolves there, and that's definitely not the start you want at all for Karthus, and great punch from Stanford.
That is an amazing punishment from Stanford. This is exactly what you'd want to do against a Karthus. Not give him blue buff whatsoever. Sure, the changes to the jungle items were for health regeneration, but not mana regen. So he's still going to struggle once he drops down to low mana in these scenarios. And sure, he'll be able to get red buff, but all you're doing is just slowing yourself down for a slow, inefficient clear, and you're not going to be able to do your first clear as fast, so you might not even be able to hit level 3 at an efficient time, and all you need to do is hit level 6, right? So while top lane is fighting each other, hitting each other with noodles back and forth, you need to power farm to 6, so when those noodles hit hard enough, you can finish the kill.
Yeah, top lane right now is super interesting to watch, simply because both Messi and Toxicity, they both want to get those grass procs, so they're just playing up at each other's faces, being able to get a little bit of extra sustain and get that health scaling into late game, while Adonis is already on top of Rue 1, and already we're starting to see Adonis be super aggressive with this Aurelia.
Yeah, something about AD mids and level 2 power spikes is the name of the game for the current situation, and being able to get her underneath the turret, Rue 1's going to have to struggle a little bit harder to neutralize this Aurelia, especially when you're constantly being hit by those stuns. It's something where your farm gets denied, you take some additional damage, and it means Adonis can just like jump onto you and jump back. But taking some trick shots on that as well. That is not what you want from that mid.
Nope, and I think that's gonna mean Adonis is gonna have to back here. Doesn't want to really risk anything. Well, a big wave right now is being built for Messi Walcott at the moment. Messi definitely does not want to trade against this Maokai early, especially since this Maokai is gonna have the sustain advantage, and it's going to be able to out-duel Ornn at the early stages, so it's not exactly a wet noodle fight just yet, but, you know, come like 15 to 20 minutes, it's going to become that.
Yeah, eventually, right? Like, you look at sort of how the trade is going so far, and Toxicity is slightly winning just because of that sustainability bonus, but once you get additional points into Ornn's W with the Bellows Breath, that's when it really starts to get painful because of just the base max health damage that you get from the Brittle procs. While down here on the bottom side, it's kind of the same story in a sense of Ezreal and Morgana will poke you out because they have better base stats to Tarek and Vayne. But once you are able to grab some items, once you get a Blade of the Ruin King onto Vayne, outside, like, which is a cheaper item than that of like the Manamune, then you'll start to be able to win trades a little bit faster and in a very strong and stout manner for Columbia University. So for them, it's just play it slow, get to those spikes, and then really put down the pedal on the metal.
Yep. And now it looks like Messi Walcott's starting to get the upper hand a little bit in these trades here and there. But, you know, once again, it's the classic top lane. Just whack each other, get some farm, whack each other some more, and get some more farm. Very interesting, though. We aren't really going to see a lot of pressure from this Olaf just yet. He's already done more than enough, though, by getting that successful invade, slowing down Footboy's progress on his camps. And first dragon game coming up, it is going to be that Infernal Drake as bot lane. No stuns are going to be landing by Broski there, but still, they're still going to be going for the trade. Oh, there's the Binding Ignite, but barrier is going to be popped by Wiki. And that's Flash 4. Q is going to miss by Fidix, but now Broski going to be in a little bit of trouble. Does still have that Flash. will have to use it because he needs to dodge that binding. And overall, Stanford, they coming on top in that bot lane trade.
Yeah, and exactly what we were talking about. They had the better advantage just because of those base stats. They win that out, and Toxicity in a little bit of trouble.
But here comes Olaf in the top side. He's going to be looking to pick up some free damage onto this Wildcard. Oh, he flashes, but he flashes after the Q, and this is probably going to be first blood. Carlton Dix is able to pick that one up, and there's a Triumph procs to allow him to knock that under tower. Very well done.
Oh my goodness, that was just so sad for Messi Walcott. He was able to get that 1v1 trade, almost kill Toxicity, but you had Carlton up on that top side to make avenge for it. If it was any way, if you had Faboy at level 6, you would have been able to grab that kill with the Requiem, but unfortunately that did not come to fruition. And on the other side, Faboy is actually taking the dragon, as a matter of fact. So just, you know, you see a top side, Carlton. And yeah, you know, we've got freedom to roam down here and take it. We can solo it. I don't need a blue buff. No worries about it.
Compensation prize here. You take an objective after you spawn to the first blood. Frontal Drake, though, first dragons in, I guess, the later half of seasons that haven't been as impactful, simply because teams mostly prefer to get the 3-stack of the dragons in order to get that soul. So I think if you are, you know, Stanford, you're more than happy to give that one up for first blood onto your Olaf, especially, right? You want that Olaf to have impact towards the mid-late game.
Yeah, for sure, right? So, Melcy just taking some damage here. He is level 6. He could try and disengage Toxicity.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, this damage is ridiculous.
Is this going to be a trade? No. Just by a sliver HP, Maokai is going to be able to live there. And we see the sustain coming through to Toxicity, able to basically outmatch Warren, but there's Rue 1 coming in for the cleanup kill, so.
Yeah, that was a Bomby Cinder difference. Like 100%, you had Bomby Cinder on Toxicity. That additional damage was just enough to close that one out, just by the hair on his chin for that one. But Messi Walcott, he's deciding to go for Aeon of the Ages first, or Catalyst, so he can go ahead and grab the Abyssal Mask first, right? So it'll make it to where he can survive. He does actually additional damage because of that increased damage from the Abyssal Mask for magic. So it's like, okay, cool. It's not only defensive, but it gives you a little bit of a bolstering on the front line later on. But this does mean that you're going to have to catch this mid lane as well. They might actually decide, you know what, let's just keep Ornn in this mid lane. Might actually deal better with the Aurelia, and then see if Rue 1 on the Sandra can sort of be that mediator of trying to play both lanes, but haphazardly.
Yeah, and we are starting to see why the Maokai is considered one of the counter picks to this Ornn, but meanwhile on the bot side, we are going to be seeing, very nice ultimate coming out for Sushu. It's going to be able to tag both, but the stun will not be able to complete there. While very aggressive in Stanford, they were hoping to get something out of this, and Phoenix is now going to be in a little bit of trouble. Only has tier, is going to be safe under tower, but meanwhile in the mid lane, Adonis is going to be going on top of the Sancho, but here comes the boy, and it was all just a setup, but Adonis should be able to get out of here. Does have the ultimate, but I don't think she wants to use. Now she does. Olaf is going to be coming in from behind. There is the Requiem. Let's see if he can kill it right before it runs. That's going to be right on time, and that's a double kill for Carlton Dakes. Wow.
That was an insane roll from Carlton. He got in there just the nick of time. Talk about a superhero on Olaf coming in and able to pick that one up. But now it means that that gank just goes so awry, and it just gets Carlton so far ahead. He's he's 1,000 gold in the lead. With those 3 kills, he can go back. He can buy his Warrior's Enchantment. He can grab some boots as well if he wants to. And he can just absolutely take control of this game no matter where he goes. He's going to be grabbing the kill right now, which means that he'll have pressure. Vidix does get scared away from his recall. You know, it's a little overzealous, the fact that you're recalling right next to your opponent. But, you know, now with that Rift Herald on the side of your team for Stanford, it's really just a sense of, all right, we have control for the next few minutes. Let's find a lane and open it up.
Magical Footwear also on to Olaf will mean that he doesn't even need to spend 300 for his boots. He's going to be able to get that extra 10%, or sorry, not 10%, but 10 flat movement speed on that Olaf too. So it feels quite nice to be Carlton Dink so far, and we've seen time and time and again that Olaf's actually, you know, once it gets snowballing, it's very rarely do we see the impact of Olaf fall off in the late game, and I'm very excited to see how Carlton Dinks takes his lead. But meanwhile, we're looking at potentially a roam coming out from Rule 1. Hasn't been spotted out by a ward just yet. Toxicity right now going to be looking for these trades. But Lissandra is going to back off towards the top side, and Toxicity going to be free to just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, you do you, buddy. You do what you need to. At this point, with a little bit of a calm before the storm, it's just a sense of Stanford saying, all right, let's set up for this Rift Herald. Let's see what we can grab. Let's find a pick here or there. And if I was Carlton, I'd actually look at either one of these side lanes, right? Like either bot or top, and say, let's crack these things open. Because if you're able to break open Fidix and Soxo's lane, that means that Solgi and Broski will have to adapt to that change to where say, okay, now we have to put Vayne and Taric mid, and we won't have as strong pressure around Dragon as we need to, or say, all right, let's open up top side and let's just make Messy Walcott's life just a living hell, as they do find a catch here on Broski.
Yeah. The Taric ultimate is going to come down, but the stun not going to be enough. That's going to be Morgana ultimate coming out. Oh, the condemn! Is it going to be enough? No, that's going to beat the Tormented Soil, along with the Ignite from Adonis to be able to take care of that one. And an unfortunate pick onto the Taric will mean that's going to be Ocean Drake going on over to Columbia. Or sorry, not Columbia.
On to Stanford.
Stanford, yeah. I got the teams.
And so a little bit awkward too, right? Like you wanted the pick you can open up a lane, but it's not the pick that you needed to really crack it open, right? But you're able to get the dragon nonetheless. You're able to grab that ocean, make it a win dragon realm. Grab that soul later on, keep that on tabs, but it does also mean that wherever Carlton roams, Carlton does have control. You do have Sugi trying to see if he can just force a retreat away from Carlton, but this might actually turn out into a fight with that flash being taken.
3v3 so far, so it's very, very low, but that's the binding, and Fidix is able to take down Sigi just like that. That's going to be the ultimate missing, but Rift Herald is going to get spawned out here, and this is probably going to be bot turret. Well, there's no wave yet. They can't do the finishing touches, but it's just barely enough.
Possibly, yeah, you know, get some additional gold into the pockets of Fidix and Carlton, and continue to have that pressure, and that's exactly what you wanted. You found the pick you needed, you dropped it right there, so you can crack open the base. Fidix gets some additional solo plate gold as well, dropping himself to 4,700 over that of Solgi, who only is sitting at 41. So now you have that additional bonus that you need to sort of help finalize all these additional items, right? Like this is the problem where you had a cheaper item for Vayne for Power Spike with Blade and Manamute, but because of the kills and the farming, it's resulted in Fidix actually getting his first. So now you're in this situation where it's like, okay, our carry is behind. We need to find somewhere else to invest in, and you can't go top because Toxicity is hard countering Messy, and you don't have kill capability on mid lane either because of just the hiccups that you've had happen here and there. So you really just need to find a situation where you have to hard force something, and I don't know if that was it, Solgi.
That was not it at all. Silky a little bit greedy over in the bot side. Doesn't have the Blade of Hurricane just yet, while the Monomune was just bought for to Ezreal, and not to mention a little bit of a slight assist on Zuzu. I don't think it made that much of a difference, but either way, very greedy for the Vayne, but Boy's gonna get caught out. Oh, Vanguard's Edge is gonna miss here, and actually, this may be bad for Adonis, but here comes Carlton Danks. Here it's stun. Not gonna be able to connect to anyone there, but bot lane is gonna fall because of that solo kill onto the Vayne. And overall, Stanford playing really, really aggressively. You gotta feel bad if you're Fulvilla right now because you have no advantages whatsoever, and you haven't had the opportunity to use Requiem just yet.
Yeah, and I did like the investment that they tried to do and catch Adonis again. Like, that is the kind of pick that you need to look for, right? Like, where the side of Stanford oversteps and they try and punish you a little bit more than they should. But, no, for boy!
Yeah, Boy is just in a rock and a hard place where at this point, yeah, rock and a tree, so kind of makes sense, right? Because it's pentakill a lot, but still. Yeah, that was just unfortunate. Also to mention, Boy just currently just level 9, and Carlton Danks just going nuts. 4-0, level 11, has just been absolutely dominant this whole entire game. What's incomplete by Aurelia too. Gonna feel really nice by a very magic damage heavy team from Columbia University.
See how well they can do it, and it's now with the top turret going to be falling here ever so slowly. Toxicity just whittling away at it. Does go ahead and claim the second turret for Stanford, and now they're looking at their third and final outer turret here as they catch and bind and see if they can get additional damage here. Rui, you should not be here. You have no mana, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
get out of there. The boy has to do a changing of the guard, and he can't even look for an ult either because he'll just get constantly harassed down by Sarksa.
Oh my gosh, he's actually dead! But the stun is going to come out. There's their Requiem, but here's their Hourglass. Phoenix Stone not taken down just yet. That was a level 1 Karthus ultimate. And now look at the bot side. Seagri doesn't get stunned up, but Vanguard's Edge is also not available. Adonis cannot go for this trade right now, along with the fact that he did rush that Wit's End, so doesn't really do him any favors. But once again, we're seeing the power of Morgana. As soon as you get that bind, you just poke that person down, completely take him out of the fight, and as a result, the boy 0-3 on his Karthus, not looking too great.
Yeah, honestly, they just need to rename Morgana's key to Death Sentence. Like, it's just ridiculous. But no, here goes Solgi. This is, again, it's something where you're not in the place to be, and you will die. Like, it's just unfortunate that these things are happening, but what else do they have to control? Like, you had Force the Flash and Ignite out of Adonis. Like, that's the silver lining, so he doesn't have any more summoners. But the fact that you're alone, you're already underfarmed, you're under-leveled, you needed something else. Like, you needed someone else to actually be there to help you out with that one. Because if Broski was down there, yeah, that would have been a kill. But then Broski's not able to help ward up and prepare for any of the situations going on. But at this point, honestly, I would rather have Broski helping out Solgi in those trades than trying to prepare for a Rift Herald, which you know is just going to be handed over to Carlton anyways.
Yeah, right now, though, it looks like Stanford are continuing to increase this goal lead. Now 9k in the bank, or as a deficit. Toxicity goes, still going to be pushing to the top side, while Cloud Drake is going to be the name of the game here for Dragon Soul, but there's the party coming out for the top side. Toxicity going to be in a lot of trouble. I think he's going to take a wild takedown. Look at that ultimate and flash. Toxicity actually may be able to get out of there. But boy, though, with the slow, but the rest of Colombia do not want to mess with Maokai. Very well played by Toxicity.
The heck, man, it's just unfortunate they weren't able to get anything. If a boy already dropped down to half health, has to sort of go back and force a retreat, and Carlton Danks and Adonis going to be pushing down, knocking on this door in the bottom side, and there's just not enough resources to manage this constant siege and barrage of Stanford University, or Stanford, yeah, who's now going for this dragon, and is going to be able to take this one free of charge. They're 8,000, if not almost 10,000 gold in the lead, and from here on, you've got about 2 minutes left until Baron. If you're thinking to yourself in future terms here for Columbia University, it's like, okay, well, crap, how are we going to be able to manage this fight if we can't even try and think of contesting these Barons? Because you look at how well that Stanford could sort of take down a 20-minute Baron. It's pretty quickly. Like, it is fairly quick. It's not amazingly fast, but it is still efficient enough to where it is a possible threat.
It's really interesting to note too. We are going to be looking at Adonis skipping the Blade of Rune King. Actually, just going to opt to go for a classic, like I guess it's like a season 6, season 5 already. The Wit's End into the Trinity Force, and that's going to be able to give him not only a lot of magic resist, but once again a lot of mobility and burst damage with the Sheen procs too, synergizing over Q. And Adonis is just going to continue to look scary and scary. In fact, everyone from Stanford makes the case of just being extremely scary if you get, picked out by one of these champions, especially if you get hit by a Morgana binding, it's probably over.
Yep. Like, it's something where, what are you doing here for Columbia University, right? Like, where are you going to go? What can you do? Because you're going to get outmanned no matter where you go. Adonis is already pressuring Messi to go ahead and recall. Like, all right, back off. I'm going to take this turret for free. You can't do anything about it because I have Carlton in my back pocket. And they're going to be going for a reset because of looking at their pockets. They have the capability to just go ahead and do so. So everyone's gone back. They've reset. This is their items for the next couple of minutes until they farm up a little bit more. So you don't have Trinity Force on Adonis just yet. But you have this massive Olaf who's now dropping Rift Herald because he has to. And it also means that dropping a bottom lane, it does have pressure for Baron. So it's like, okay, we have this Rift Herald and this Maokai that is sieging this bottom side. The Baron can be taken fairly hastily by the rest of the team. They don't need Maokai there. So how many men and how many resources can we put here to contest this Baron to see if we can push him away from it? Or do we just have to full-on accept defeat, take the Baron at a loss, get these sideways under control, and then be able to just sort of survive the next 3 to 4 minutes?
Yeah, this Baron right now is going to melt here as soon as Adonis comes in. And it just looks like, no one from Columbia University are going to be in position to really do anything about this. There's the Skyring Orb. No still going to be coming in for the Call of Forge God there. That is going to be a very clean 20-minute Baron by Stanford, and it's just very textbook play here. But now look at this bot lane. Gonna be a little bit of trouble, but Toxicity, gotta remember, he is quite hard to kill. And in fact, he's trying to turn this around. Is this season 8? What is this? Is CUB almost getting taken down by Toxicity? But Toxicity, he wants to get the finishing blow. So if Avoid's almost out of mana, there's the barrier. Toxicity gets 1, maybe able to get 2. This is insane coming out from the Sunfire King on this Maokai, and the rest of Stanford are looking to close this one out.
Yeah, that's just absolutely ridiculous, this team of Stanford.
Ragnarok.
Ooh, will they be able to get anything more? No, looks like not. They're going to get the inhibitor. Death timers are still pretty low, so Solgi will be up in the next 10 seconds. So it's just a question of how fast are they willing to batter down, because it is a close to end game, but all ultimates are available on the side of Columbia University.
I think Stanford, though, they are just going to rotate for the bot side, go for the easy objective. They already have a wave onto this tower. And Stanford are going to keep going. They know they are strong at the moment. No Maokai ultimate, no Olaf ultimate, but they still do have Vanguard's edge onto their rally. Let's see if they are going to commit to the fight. So far, they are going to keep on sieging this tower, but they can't get their hands onto that cannon. And slowly but surely, that's where it's going to go down. Lissandra looking to go in, but the Claw won't be able to connect. That is going to be the arcane shift away from Fidix, and this tower, slowly but surely, will get taken down by the siege from Stanford. They're going to need their second inhibitor here. They're going to be able to get it, and the rest of Columbia, they're going to be able to concede this, and I think Stanford just reset and then go for the top push to try to close up the game.
Yeah, so you look at the pockets of all of Stanford University saying, okay, what can we buy? You can get a Trinity Force right onto Aurelia. There you go, no questions asked. What else can you grab? Well, we got that Trinity Force and mana, or Mirror Mana now onto Ezreal for Fidix, and you also have just the recipes soon for the Bilgewater Cutlass as well. So it's like, now you're maxed out once again. You have that reset. You also have the Zanyas on Soxo, which has been there for quite a while. So like all these tools, and you look at the sense of what Columbia University has, they don't have any actual sort of foundation. Sure, they have first items, but compared from 1 item to 2.5 for the entirety of Stanford, it's really just pennies to dollars is this one. So for them, it's just waiting to see if they can survive just a little bit longer.
Look at the bottom side. Carlton Danks.
We're in trouble.
A little bit of trouble, but this fight is actually looking better and better by the second Stanford. I think they're going to be able to get a pick onto Reed. There's the Hourglass. The rest of Columbia are going to be a little bit late to the party, but here comes the Forge God. Going to be able to knock up 3 so far, but no one falling just yet. On the side of Columbia, Siugi has to back off, and I think the rest of Stanford, they want to keep this push going.
That was probably the best fight that you're ever going to get out of Columbia University in this game. Yeah, probably the best fight, because there's no one to be targeted. There's no one to dive on because.
Lissandra gotta be going in, but no one is there for to follow up. Here comes Yugi trying to see if he can follow anything up here, but that's shut down right now onto the Morgana. But double kill by by the Aurelia. It's just classic business here. But wait, people are slowly getting taken down. One by one, but Fidix is able to get a kill for himself. A really well executed dive there. Farpoint flashes in, and oh boy, you're not Zach, buddy. You're gonna get taken down. Toxicity is just in the E for the Karthus, and that is going to be Stanford being your champions here for the Ivy Plus League versus COVID-19 charity tournament, and that is. What a game, Coco. What a game. Very down by Stanford. Goes to show why they were undefeated in the bracket stage of this tournament. And they just wiped the whole tournament clean.
They did a phenomenal job, and it's a reason why there should be a hashtag stand for Stanford for these teams. Like, absolutely dominant play. Fidix 3-0. I think he only died 3 times this entire tournament. So already absolutely dominant play from the bottom lane, as you can tell. The rest of the team as well. Max deaths is only 2 for Soxo, who was just creating those plays and making those picks for his team time in and time out. So really, outside of that, outside of the amazing performance that they were able to do and the hardest flexes that they could possibly bring to the table for this tournament, there's nothing more than just applause and like commendment for every single member on that team. And honestly, I'm excited to see how well they'll do once all this is blown over and real tournaments start to get back online into the scene, because I'd like to see how well they can match up.
Right, and something also note, Toxicity really making Maokai look like basically season 8 tank meta with Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape. The way he was just able to manhandle anyone who just stepped in his lane and just wow, goes to show once again the power of the Maokai into Ornn matchup. Why he's kind of popped up
True.
as a meta counter pick, and shout outs to our favorite top laner. Den Shump, 420, man. One day we know he will be able to reach the heights that Toxicity has shown in this finals tournament. But not to mention, though, very, very good run for Columbia University. They made a really good losers run. They were able to make it into the grand finals. And although they couldn't get the reset, they still, put up a really great showing.
Yep. And that goes for every single one of the teams here as well. It's just well done. Thank you all for coming in and participating in this
Right.
charity event as well. So like you got to give a shout out for all the teams coming in and showing up and playing their hearts out for us here on stream. And for the amount of money that we raised as well. Thank you to the viewers for being able to come here and help out for this event and showing your support to these teams, these players, and for the cause. So nothing more than just massive thank yous and gratitude to everyone here, both broadcasts and viewers alike. So thank you so much for that one.
Yeah, first of all, thank you to all of the people who are able to work behind the scenes to make this possible, especially Dan, who has been streaming the whole entire thing. It's been awesome being able to work with everyone and all the casters who came in before us, Lemons, Rebel Fox, Visions, and Switch. We are all happy to put on a great show for you guys to support a wonderful cause. And once again, we do past our original goal of 5,000. We even doubled it. I'm not really too sure if we hit that 15K mark, but there's still a little bit of time before the stream ends. Technically, this is a 10-hour stream, so we got a little bit more content coming up. But something else to also thank is all the teams who are participating in this tournament: Yale, Harvard, Princeton, Columbia University, UPenn, Dartmouth, Brown, Cornell, MIT, and finally your winners of this tournament today, Stanford. All wonderful job on stream. It's been very entertaining games overall by everyone. I'm sure everyone in the chat had a blast, and most importantly, thank you all to all the viewers who have been able to tune into this stream and also our side stream by our friends over at Columbia University who have been able to stream some of the side games here. It's been a great, great, great day of games here to tackle the battle against COVID-19. But overall, we are going to be hitting our final marks in the stream. Once again, from myself and Coco the Dragon, thank you all so much for watching. Coco, any last remarks before we hand it over to the rest of the folks at Yale?
No, that's it. I think let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
And wrap things up we shall. Once again, congratulations to Stanford. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for tuning in. But be sure to stick around after a short break. We are going to be heading into a section where Yale's going to give some final remarks to close out the stream. See you guys soon.